In 2005, Carl Edwards won 4 races and finished third in points, an outstanding year for his rookie year in the Cup Series. He was a very hot prospect, and most people thought he could win a championship someday. Like most big drivers on big teams, in the early 2000s and mid 2000s, he was in NASCAR's current game. He was in NASCAR '06 in his Scott scheme and the Office Depot scheme. Everything was business as usual. But if you were like me and 13 years old, you wondered, why isn't Carl Edwards in NASCAR '07 or '08? Where is he? All the other Roush drivers are here. Why would he not be here? It was odd. And for a while as a kid, I never really understood that. But looking back on it today, there's a good reason. Carl Edwards had his own line of handheld games. He signed basically an exclusive contract with Excalibur Games. Excalibur Games is a company that essentially makes the little handheld electronic games that require AA or AAA batteries. From games like bowling, Texas Hold'em, slots, old school games, or other sports games. They essentially made those little games you'd see at Walmart or at big box stores that had really cool packaging on the front, looked like they were going to be awesome, but they were just a basic Tiger Electronics game, pretty much. Not a huge big budget gaming company. Now, the rumors were either Carl and EA Sports had a contract dispute. I'm not sure if he was getting paid to be in these games. I'm not sure if NASCAR drivers get paid by EA Sports to be in this game, or if it goes through the team, or if I'm not sure. I'm not here to discuss the specifics of that. But the things that I've seen is that either he and EA had a contract dispute and he went and did this, or he could not be in the EA games because of this deal. I don't know. It could be either one of those things. I'm not here to discuss the specifics of why he is not in these games. I just wanted to provide a little backstory, because today we are going to be looking at the Carl Edwards plug and play games. So we've got 3 games to look at today. This is the first one. It is just a basic controller that plugs into the TV. You've got a basic, crappy looking D-pad, an A and a B button, that's where the batteries go right there, a start, select, and reset button, and some Carl Edwards Racing branding on the front. Not too bad, but nothing crazy exciting. Yep, that's it. Carl Edwards, Chase for Glory. You've got practice and championship. We're just going to go with championship. And here's your race entry form, aka how you customize your car. You can see we've got a nice 32-bit Carl Edwards JPEG there, and you can rename your person to whatever you want. Of course, it's named Carl with the car number 99. That doesn't even look like Carl's car, yellow numbers. It says Carl on the back, though, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, this is about what you would expect from this type of game. You can do multiple races with multiple difficulties and anywhere from 3 to 10 to 25 laps. Nothing too exciting. It's just, I don't know what you expected. Maybe as a kid you would expect a little more than this, but for me, a grown adult, I kind of knew what I was getting into. So you can actually select different drivers. They've got different names and different driver pictures. That guy actually looks like Jimmy Johnson, and it's even got the name Jimmy. That's kind of funny, and it really makes you think, So we're not really going to put in a different name. We're just going to go with Jimmy Johnson here. You can change the color of your car. It matters, but it really doesn't at the same time. You'll see why, as we're just going to go with the blue. And you can also change your car number. I know that is such a big deal in these types of games. So what number should we pick? I don't know. How about we go with the blue 48 for Jimmy? It just makes sense, doesn't it? So we're going to go with race as Jimmy in the blue 48. Now, you see our car is green on the back. And we take off. And yeah, this is pretty amazing. Now, the gameplay I got is Jimmy kind of crapped out. So this is as Carl Edwards. You can see it tries to say Carl on the back, but it's kind of a, it looks like an 8-bit game or whatever this is. Let's go over the HUD here. We've got a lap counter, 1 of 3, a position. There are 10 racers in this. As you can see, there's a little crew chief that says, whoa, take it easy, if you hit the wall or do something silly. There's a track map up in the top right that shows you and the leader. You can see the leader is way ahead of us. There's a fuel gauge and a tire gauge, but I never really ran long enough in this game for it to matter. I just did the 3-lap races, and then there's a little tachometer there that nothing really matters. As you can tell, the sounds are not great, obviously. So the hitting the wall sounds like a sound from Eminem's Shell Shocked. I know that's a random reference, but that's just what it sounds like. It's very hard to keep your car out of the wall, so you're going to be hearing that noise a lot. The engine sound that you hear is literally every time you let off the button and hit it again. So it just goes and then it stops, obviously. There's really not much other than that. So if you hit the gas and go on and off to breathe it, you're just going to hear and that's all. The racing itself is not very exciting, obviously, as you can see. It's actually kind of difficult to win these types of races unless you are doing a longer race. Since it's hard to keep the car on the bottom, it's pretty easy to get past considering you can't keep it out of the wall. Just passing people themselves is hard. If you hit somebody, your car basically comes to a stop and then you're screwed. Keeping the car on the bottom is difficult. You have to really know where you are going into the corner, and if you go into the corner, all you can do is move to the right. Yes, I know you can see me come left off the wall there, but unless you want to go super slow, turning it to the left to get down lower is very, very difficult. It's basically you need to enter on the bottom and get around them, or you're not passing them. So here's the finish of the race. We came in 7th, so there's a point screen and everything. So there's a championship standing, and it just takes you back to this. You can't edit anything after the fact. We put it on hard, and that was a bad idea, as you can probably tell. I did this for probably 30 minutes, and I could not win a single race or championship. So here we are at the next race, and as you can probably tell, it's the same layout of track. Yep, you guessed right. There's only one type of track in this entire game, and it's just your basic oval. Nothing really changed. As you can see in the background, we've got a really shitty 8-bit sprite of Daytona with the grandstands that just, no matter where you are on track, the grandstands are just going to keep going into your view. Yep, there it is. Here they are again. They're just going to keep rotating, and every time you turn, it just kind of rotates the background a little bit. The other cars themselves aren't, the AI, I wouldn't even call it AI. They just kind of run their race. They don't really react to you that much. But like I said, if you touch them, you stop and you instantly lose about 3 seconds. You have to do everything you can to run to the back of them. It basically ruins your race. Here we are. There's really they don't leave you much room. As you can see, I stopped in the middle of the corner there. They don't leave you much room whatsoever. It's very difficult. Because every little bump that you run into them with, it basically puts you way behind. As you can see, the leader is almost a lap or half a lap ahead of us. I decided to go through the middle stupidly, and I'm learning on the fly here. You have to bear with me. So in this race, I got all the way up to 2nd on lap 2 of 3, and as you can see, the leader is half a straightaway ahead of me or more. He's already crossed the line, and it wasn't even close. I felt like I got through the pack really good. Like I said, it took me basically 2 laps to get to 2nd, and the leader was just so far in front that it was impossible. Yes, I know I have it on hard difficulty, but that's just, or I guess it's medium now. I put it down to medium. Sorry, I have a lot of gameplay spliced together, but it's just difficult. You can pass everybody else, but the leader is difficult. As you can see on the little screen, every time you make a pass, it'll say something, or if you have a car to your right. That's actually not bad for a game like this. It's actually kind of impressive. As you can see, I'm running the Darlington line there. It's very difficult to be fast and not go into the wall. You really, really have to get the car slowed down into the corner, because if you hold the gas at all in the corner, it's going to want to shoot up the track. And as you can see, I've learned to go to the bottom, and here I am weaving between cars. And, you actually run to the back of one, and it just slows you down. Whoa, take it easy. Yeah, go to hell, game. A few cars left. Keep going, buddy. Okay. So as you can see, it's the cars underneath you really fly by. They glitch through each other. It's not easy. The corners are especially difficult. As you can see, I'm having a hard time getting by somebody on the bottom, but we should be able to fly by them here. Little contact. Unfortunately, made contact with that guy. It's difficult. It's a difficult game for this, and I was honestly surprised. I thought this was probably going to be a super easy game, but it's also, user error. I can't stop running into the back of them. But I'll be honest, I played this game for over 30 minutes. I could not win a single race before my capture stuff started messing out. The screen just gradually got brighter and brighter and brighter. And I know that's probably a hardware issue for me, but it made the game unplayable. I couldn't finish a championship season to see what happened, and I definitely wasn't going to be winning the championship. So overall, this game isn't good. I don't know how much these retailed for, but it's just your basic little controller racing game. Sure, as a kid, if your grandma got you this for Christmas or your birthday, you could get 5 to 10 minutes of fun out of it before you get bored if you didn't have anything else. Or if this was at grandma's house as the only thing to play, I'm sure you could survive. But it's overall a really bad game. It in no way represents Carl Edwards Racing. And for some reason, I think they licensed Jimmy Johnson this game unofficially. It's very odd. Not a good game, not a good experience. But I guess I've played worse, but it's not good. So next we've got the Carl Edwards Racing handheld game. Here's what it looks like. It's actually got some cool pictures and things on it. It's pretty neat looking. Would pop off for sure on the shelf. It's weird that it's got NASCAR logos and stuff on it, especially for a kid's game. It's got the Bud logo on everything. They didn't really try to edit anything out whatsoever, but it looks good. In the packaging, it looks really, really good. Some of the things on here are actually kind of funny to read. Choose between manual and automatic transmission, displays RPMs in miles per hour, and action-packed sounds. 0 to fun in seconds flat. Since he burst onto the scene with his signature victory backflip, Carl Edwards has received plenty of attention and praise. So it's a lot of his stats, and then it puts you in the helmet behind the wheel, the aerodynamic road-eating number 99, and race at blazing speeds, blah, blah, blah. Then it's got the same 3 little fact points on the back as it does on the front. The game itself looks pretty good. It's got the Carl Edwards 99, and it's got the NASCAR logo, which honestly is weird considering just all things. I guess this was licensed by NASCAR if it's got the NASCAR logo on it. So let's take a look here. On the top, it's got the Carl Edwards Racing 99. It's got the 99 on the bottom with the signature. There's an on-off button, a start, a pause, and a sound switch. A D-pad, an A and B button. How about those action-packed sounds, huh? It's actually so annoying that my wife was like yelling at me, "What are you doing? Turn that off. It's very annoying." And I agree. So you've got a little first-person cam with a steering wheel down at the bottom and a gear shift and your speedometer. They don't really do much. Yes, the gears are actually working, I guess, the speedometer too, but it doesn't really add anything. I guess it tells you when you're turning left and right. You see you've got the track map up there at the top of the track you're racing at. I don't really know how close it is actually. It does tell you to turn left and right. It's honestly very hard to turn in this. It's kind of like the other game, to be honest. I kind of would have preferred it just be like a straight line and you just avoiding cars, but it is what it is. You've got the amount of length in the race in the top left and a timer on the top right that counts down to finish the race under. There is a rear view mirror, which is actually pretty impressive for this game. I honestly could not believe it when I saw it. But honestly, this is just your basic handheld racing game. I wouldn't say it's bad, but it's definitely not amazing. As you can see, the track is right in the middle of the top of the screen. There are 4 other tracks to race at. All of them surely as enthralling as this one. It's basically just avoid the other cars and try not to crash and finish before the timer ends. This race is only a 1 of 1 lap, and that's pretty much it. It's nothing exciting. These don't obviously look like NASCARs. They've got a giant wing on the back. I mean, maybe this could be the COT era, but it looks more like a sports car than anything. But yeah, on the top left, it just counts down the amount of time left in the race. This was a very long track, by the way, for a 1 of 1 lap race. But yeah, we're in the lead. It's not very hard. It did take me a little bit to figure out how to get the thing going right off the bat. I just kind of pressed buttons until we raced, if we're being honest. There's nothing too exciting. But other than that, that's pretty much this. I know I didn't spend much time on it, but I don't know what else to show you. It's just a basic handheld plug-and-play game. Or not even plug-and-play. It's just a put 3 AAA batteries in and play. There are much better racing games out there for you to spend your money on to play in the car. I had one of them that actually had a little steering wheel. It was a lot of fun. Maybe someday I'll get a video on that done. But this was just not a great game. There's no pitting, there's no fuel or anything to manage. It's just race, try not to hit the other cars in the other 2 lanes that you're not in or in the lane you're in, and that's it. It's pretty underwhelming. So here we have the big boy, the Carl Edwards Racing Wheel. There's no pedals included, but let's take a look at this thing. It's a nice color. It's got some decent schemes on it. I bought this used on eBay, so it's not the cleanest thing in the world. But you've got the wheel. You've got a little base with suction cups on the bottom. They actually work pretty nice. There's a start and exit button on the wheel itself, and a couple up and down buttons on each side. There are shifting paddles on the left and right. They don't click or anything. They just kind of go in gross feelingly. There's nothing exciting. There's an on button. When you flip it on, it turns the 99 red. It's fine, I suppose. All in all, it feels fine. There's nothing too bad. It's got the Excalibur logo. It's a nice looking little toy, but there's nothing too impressive about it. It just takes 2 cables, the red and the yellow. I'm not sure why there is not a white one there, but that's just whatever, I guess. But all in all, it's not a bad little thing. I wish there was some pedals, but it feels okay. It's the suction cups are actually sturdy on the glass. It's not bad. So this game opens to a generic picture of Carl Edwards doing a backflip, and we've got 3 modes to choose from. Look at the awesome whatever car that is in the background with the racing wheel. Amazing stuff. So we've got the same drivers as last time, but we add to the lore of our friend Jimmy. His name is Jimmy Reed. Yes, Jimmy Reed. And there's Carl. We've got a bunch of different drivers to pick from. It's kind of the same layout as the last one, but a little different. It looks a lot cleaner and a lot nicer. The numbers on the car don't look very good, though. The 9 back there is just kind of struggling for dear life to hang on. You get these different tracks, and you can kind of pick the different amount of laps you want to do, 3, 10, or 20, whatever. It's not bad. It certainly looks a lot cleaner. There's definitely more power behind this. But as here we go, we are underway. This actually looks a lot better than the other games. I'm going to be completely honest. We've got a nice little catch fence next to us. It's not bad. The skyline is actually kind of neat looking, but we've got the awful line road and grass like the stripes. It just looks horrible. We are going 230 miles an hour in a straight line. That seems a little unnecessary, but whatever. At least we have a track that is not just a basic oval. We actually have a little bit different track here. But yeah, it looks nice. We've got the AI cars actually look like race cars. They look good. But when you pass them, they just kind of get real small and move to the side as you pass them. So it's a little different. It takes some getting used to, but I mean, honestly, it's not too bad. They can't really turn or anything. It's kind of like a generic 2D sprite that gets bigger and smaller, but honestly, it's not terrible. The cockpit of the car, it's just a basic automobile cockpit. As you can see, you've got the speedometer and tach on the left, but that's all there is. You've got more gauges right in the center, so that's kind of weird looking. It's just a basic car. This is not a stock car interior. They added the lines down the middle, like the support braces for the windshield, just to make it look more like a race car, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, it looks okay. It's certainly for what it is. I expected less, and it looks bad. As we've made our way up to third here on the last lap or second, and we're gonna go ahead and take the lead here as we're hitting again 230 miles an hour down the front stretch. Whatever racer you choose, you've got your little picture there on the bottom right, just a cut off picture of Carl Edwards and the name, and you've got your number on the top right. You've got your tire and fuel monitor on the top left. As you can see, our tires have ran all the way down, but nothing has really happened. I haven't came down pit road to do anything, and we're still winning. We're doing okay. It is kind of hard to keep the car turned. It's just a weird feeling as someone that's raced other racing games and iRacing to have no force feedback at all in this little wheel. It doesn't really feel amazing, but it gets the job done. As you can see here, this is right here is amazing stuff. Carl Edwards does a backflip when you win the race off his car. Look at this sprite. Let's analyze this really quick here. To start off, we have an image in the background. It looks like NASCAR Racing 4, based off of the Jeff Gordon car and the Jeremy Mayfield car. Then we've got a basic image that has been turned into a sprite of Carl Edwards 99 at Daytona, and then a sprite of Carl Edwards doing a backflip off of the side of said car and in front of a crowd of people. Why would, like, this looks like it's on the track. Why would he be doing this on the track with other cars just sitting there? And all the media is on the front stretch. It's odd, but honestly, it's a little charming too at the same time. So then we move on to the point standings, where Edwards is in front. It's not bad. Once again, just basic stuff. We move on to the next one. I'm not really sure what that is right in the middle, but it's just your basic oval track again. Let's take a look at or take a listen to the sound. Why don't we? So we've got a nice little music track playing behind us, but I hope you like it because that's the only one in the entire game, basically, as you're driving. It's honestly not bad, but it gets tiring after a while. You can see the layout for the track is a little different. We've got a different background. The shade of colors and lines on this track is a little different. It's not too bad. Also, you probably heard random revs throughout the little play there. Once again, like the other game, every time you hit the gas, it makes a revving sound. There's no actual motor sound of it, going up through the revs. It's just vroom, vroom, vroom every time you hit the gas. That's it. Once again, this is proving to be pretty easy as we have made our way to the lead, and we're just going to bring it home, to be honest. Nothing too exciting. By this point, I felt like I had seen all this game had to offer, but I wanted to see what happens if you win the championship. Obviously, there was a little, animation for winning a race. I would like to see what happens if you win the championship, so I grinded through. Okay, we did it. Let's see what happens after this screen. I'm excited. Congratulations! You won the Roush Cup Championship. So we got the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series trophy with the little Dodge Miata or whatever in the background. But we won the Roush Cup. And then I did not know that this was the Roush Cup. The Roush Cup. Yep. The Roush Cup Championship. We were racing against all Roush drivers. Not the NASCAR Cup Series or the Carl Edwards Cup Series. The Roush Cup Series. Then it just gives you the splash screen and takes you back to the main menu. And that's it. That's the Carl Edwards games. So, what'd you think? Carl Edwards ended up getting back into the EA Sports games with NASCAR '09 and NASCAR kart racing, and he was in every game after that. So, I think he learned his lesson on getting involved with amazing plug-and-play games. Honestly, I expected them to be a lot worse. They weren't that bad. I mean, no, they weren't good. I consider the worst of the bunch to be the little controller one. It had the worst graphics, the worst gameplay, and was just bad all around. But it wasn't the worst. I mean, I don't know. They were bad, but they weren't unplayable bad. I mean, you could get a few minutes of fun out of it. Then I would go with the handheld one. It wasn't bad whatsoever. For a little handheld game you could play in the car. Certainly there are much better options out there, but not terrible. And the steering wheel game was surprisingly okay, if not a little easy. I think with the harder difficulty it might be a little harder, but it really wasn't worth your time. None of them were. Even with the steering wheel one being the best, I don't think it was worth whatever they were charging, because there was no way that was just $20, right? Even if it was, I would say that's a little too pricey. But maybe just barely. I think maybe 20 would be about what I'd pay for it. If it was anything more than that, it was not worth it. But that was the Carl Edwards games. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm sorry this took so long to come out, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was worth the wait. Tell me what you think down below. Thank you for being here. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.